Recording.
It's the November. It's the November. Sorry. It's November 20th, 2020, and that's my 2018 Honda Goldwing. I bought it 5 months ago, brand new. It's sat 2 years. This was the first year that Honda switched over from a pure touring bike to a tour sport mixed. And it's about 35 degrees out. This is intended to be the end of my first year ride on my Goldwing. And one of the reasons I'm doing this today, the temperature's in the mid 30s. And when I came in on the, where'd I go? There it is, on the semi a little bit ago, some of the roads were a bit damp. Didn't have any trouble with traction on the semi. I'm not really looking forward to riding the bike home. It's a 25-mile ride. And but it was 50 when I rode it to work. Temperatures kind of dropped. This is likely my last ride for the year. And the forecast for the next couple weeks is cold enough that when it gets below freezing here, you can't trust the roads. It's not that you can't ride the bike when it's down in the 20s. This is Minnesota. I mean, we can ride snowmobiles, which we usually refer to as sleds, in the winter. You can ride a motorcycle if the roads are dry, but you can't count on not hitting any icy spots. So anyway, I haven't packed it up yet, but the reason I'm doing this is I want to start it. This model Goldwing has the alternator and the starter are the same unit instead of two separate pieces. So I want to see how well it starts when the temp's in the 30s. Okay, they did okay. So while it's warming up, we're going to go ahead and start packing things up. So you can hear it's idled up quite a bit. The RPMs are reading about 1800, so it's pretty cold. So we'll put this in here. The trunk is smaller than on my Ultra Classic, which I do not like at all. The Ultra Classic was nice because I have a refrigerator that I carry with me. You know what? I'm going to put this in the side box. Nah, we're okay. I have a refrigerator that I carry with me that would fit into the trunk of the Ultra Classic, and it will not fit into here. It's just too small. So we'll grab this. I need these. I'll put this in here. Maybe. Let's try it the other way. It does fit. I just which it did the last time I okay. This is not a professional production. This is me. I think I got a pair of sandals in there that I sometimes wear when I'm driving. There we go. All right. If you remember my initial video on the bike, labeled Your First Ride, I had a backpack. And I still have the pack, but this is an official police bag. Well, let me rephrase that. It's marketed to police. I don't know if that makes it official or not. And I bought it because it's very heavy duty. I can't remember the brand. I'm sure there's a tag on there somewhere. But I bought it because it's very heavy duty and my stuff fits in it really well. And one positive note that I hadn't anticipated is that it actually fits on the bike quite nicely. Some of the videos that you look at, and I apologize, this bike's a little dirty. That's just from rain that evaporated, leaving dust behind. But the bar here, if you can see it, it's solid through here. There's no way to go under, but if you take the strap and run it around like that, some of the videos have been very negative about that, and there actually are a couple that show you how to put on replacement ones that stick out farther. If you feel you need one, by all means go ahead. I don't. I'm quite happy with this setup. We'll put that there. My keys will go in my pocket. Take my phone out. Now I'm dressed in a Carhartt Arctic coveralls. Put the phone in there. And they're like 5 sizes too big for me. But I can put a whole bunch of clothes underneath this. And one guy reviewed them and said he rode his motorcycle up in the New England area, 20 degrees out, with just I'm assuming with just the coveralls on, and he said he was fine. I actually have several layers of clothing on underneath this because I don't expect to be fine. So anyway, try to get they have I'm not quite sure what you call this, some cloth with some stretch, and I want to try to get that wrapped around the glove if I can. That'll help keep air from going underneath. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that with this hand, because with the gloves I don't think I'm going to. Sorry, I'm not Mr. Personality. I don't have any good stories to tell you while we're all quite bored waiting for me to figure out how to do this. But we're partway there. Got the bottom part. If you're wondering, yeah, this does have heated grips, heated seat and heated hand grips. One of the drawbacks I found is that the heated, if I put the heated hand grips on high, it for some reason the cruise control tends to want to not work. I don't know if the circuitry gets too hot and the switch overheats and it automatically disables, or what the deal is. But okay, I think I got it. All right. I do have a sweatshirt on that has a hood. The hood will fit underneath my helmet, but it squeezes my brain. It's fairly tight, and I'm not the most smartest, sharpest tool in the shed anyway. So we'll try to avoid squeezing my brain if possible. I may have to stop and put it on. Let's see. Got to close the vents on the. It's 50 some degrees when I rode over, and I had the vents open on the. I need to close these on the helmet. It's a Scorpion helmet, touring model. It's got the sun shield that will come down. Okay, now I'm gonna. Oh boy, I need to wash this thing. Anyway, so now we're gonna get the bike off the center stand. For me, I can just push it forward. I'm heavy enough. If I just lean, it goes. But it's easier if I put my hand on here, rock it. See how it rocks up, straighten out the wheel, and then just let it gently come forward. I just have to nudge it just a little bit just to get it to come down. Now, here's the fun part. And these coveralls, I'm not very limber anyway. So, here we go. Okay, we're up. All right. I got a little bit too much in the pack, so it was pushing me forward just a touch. But that's all right. Now I need to try to. I did put some. The wind tends to come up underneath the pant legs, so I did put a couple of bungee straps around my leg. All right, just to double check, we'll look over here. Make sure nothing's showing up. If the trunk's open, partially open, if it's not sealed completely, if the side boxes are, or if the kickstand's down. Kickstand's down. See, it says stand. That little motorcycle there will show if the trunk's open or the side boxes. So look at that just to make sure, because with all this crap on, including the helmet, I can't look and see. All right. Well, change it to, I'm going to put it into rain mode because the only thing I don't like about rain mode, I'm going to put it in manual shifting. The only thing I don't like about rain mode is it shifts, the RPMs shift up higher like they do in in tour mode. Or in economy mode, the RPMs, it has less torque than tour mode, but the RPMs, it shifts at a lower RPMs. I wish the rain mode would do that too. Rain mode has a lower torque than economy or any of the other modes, so you're less likely to spin out. In my initial video, I said that at the time I was really new to riding this thing, and I said that I always run it in automatic shifting, and the bike will automatically downshift even if you're in manual shifting mode when the RPMs get down low enough, and it just did that. Let's see, I got the headlights on bright. I wonder when I did that. This suit on the coveralls on this seat are a little slick. I've got to slide around just a little bit. But anyway, the purpose for rain mode now is in case I hit any wet spots that are still frozen. And this does have ABS and traction control, so if it does start to spin, the computer, and I've never had to use it, or as far as I know, it's never engaged, so I don't know how quickly the computer responds. It seems to respond quick when I shift. I hit the button and it responds immediately, which is much better than some vehicles that I use, including my semi. It seems like there's a delay when I push a button and expect something to happen right away. It doesn't. But on the Goldwing, the nice thing about it is it does respond right away. Anyway, what I started to say, you're going to find that I'm old and I have a bunch of thoughts flitting through my brain all at the same time. They talk about people that they're senile, that they just are losing their ability to think. I think in my case it's the opposite. I suspect maybe some of the others that are considered to have Alzheimer's, that kind of stuff, may have the same problem. It's not that you don't have anything going on up there. You've got 500 of them flitting through your head at the same time, and trying to grab one and hold on to it, it's just hard. So anyway, getting back to the original, that when I said was writing when I did the your first ride video, I said I just put it in automatic mode and let it do it because it actually shifts better than I do. And at the time it did, but now that I've got a little more experience with it, I actually vary between the two depending on what I'm doing, traffic conditions, that sort of thing. If there's light traffic or no traffic, usually I'll put it into automatic mode and just let the bike take care of it. But if I'm in heavy traffic where I may need to quickly shift gears up, down, to get the RPMs up for quicker slowing down or quicker speeding up, then I'll just put it into manual mode and do it. Yeah, I've got the face mask up right now, but the bald spot on the top of my head is getting a little nippy. I may end up closing the face mask down at least part way. I can't close it all the way because with the vents closed, the face shield steams up. Even with the vents open, it steams up, but just not as bad. Not so much driving down the road, but when I come to a stop, I just can't see. I need to get some of that stuff that you spray on the face shield. All right, here we go. And again, the paddle flippers for shifting are on your left control. To upshift, it's your index finger right here on the front. To downshift, it's the bottom one right here. You just hit it. Generally speaking, as much as possible, you want to use your paddle shifter to downshift for braking, so you don't wear out your brakes or overheat them. There's no sense riding on your brakes if you don't need to. This bike has plenty of torque, enough torque even in rain mode, which we're in right now, to slow you down without using your brakes, assuming that you're driving reasonably safe and keeping some distance between you and the traffic in front of you. Now, like I said, this does have a heated seat, and it does have heated hand grips, which I'm not using. I don't need them in this outfit. Usually the only time I use it is if it's in the 50s or 60s and I've got a light coat on and no gloves. Then I'll use the heated hand grips. The wife, she loves the heated seat. It has separate controls for the front seat and the back seat, so she can turn her seat on, and she'll run it with 70 degrees out. She'll run it with the heat on, and but I don't, and I can't even tell she has it on except for there's an indicator on the dash up here. Okay, if you're wondering, I'm driving 55. The top number here is where the cruise control, and obviously the speedometer's there. We've gone 2.8 miles since we left work, and I've got 166 miles. The bottom one is the range. Before I run out of fuel, I have a half tank. It says I have 166 miles of range left, and I believe that's based on my current fuel economy. And if I change the presets, well, it says I'm getting 23.2, but that's, I reset it to 0. That's from includes when I started it up and let it idle for a while. And I'm doing 55 across this bridge. Most traffic usually does 70, so don't be surprised if I piss off a few people and a few go around me. Some comments on the bike. I got to tell you, I thought I liked the Harleys. I mean, you know, people go around saying, "Oh, I love Harleys, only Harleys," and I grew up with that. My first bike was Dad's Duo Glide, and I got my license when I was 16, and I was riding it, the big Harley, and then I bought an Ultra Classic in 2003. Yep, the guys behind me aren't going to wait for there he goes, see? I don't know what he's going, but he's doing well faster than 70. I thought, honestly, if anybody would ask me, and I would have honestly said I love the Harley. You know, it's just that's the bike to have. And I wasn't the least bit interested in anything else. But after riding this thing for the summer, there's no comparison. This thing is way ahead of well, at least the 2004 Harley. I haven't ridden any of the 2020s, but I'm assuming, other than adding some electronic gadgetry to it, they're pretty much the same as the 2004. And this thing is just, it's sweet. Of all the vehicles I've ever owned, car or motorcycle, this is my favorite. And I've got a 2015 Dodge Charger Police Interceptor at home that I dearly love, and I have a 2008 Dodge Durango former police car with the police package in it. It's a four-wheel drive, not an all-wheel drive, so it's a little bit touchier to handle in the winter than the newer all-wheel drives are, because the new all-wheel drive is computer controlled, where the four-wheel drive is mechanical. It's pretty much locked into place. But of all the vehicles I've owned over the last 45 years, this Goldwing, there's no comparison. I love this thing. Well, let's check and see what the temperature is. All right, get that up there. Well, okay, we're up to 40. So it's cold, but I'm fine. Except the bald spot on the top of my head. But I honestly would never voluntarily go back to any other motorcycle, Harley or otherwise. And I mean, there's several reasons. I mean, they are articulable, meaning it's just not a feeling. I can tell you why. One reason is that the Harley, it just vibrates like to beat the band when you're holding onto the hand grips. 100 miles down the road with the missus, and I'd get off, and I'm numb from elbow to, in both hands, from elbow to hand, just from the vibration. I pulled it behind a Harley a month or so back in downtown Minneapolis, and you could see the trunk just a vibrating back. And that thing is just, this thing is so much smoother, and it's just so much more of a joy to ride. The windshield with the Harley, putting it down, now back up with the Harley, the windshield was locked in place, and the top of it was right where I'm looking, and same here. And I hated that, because I'm trying to look at traffic in front of me, instead I'm looking at the line, the top of the windshield. And with this one, I can take care of that by just dropping it down a little bit so I can see over the top. Had to downshift. Busy talking, I'm so used to running in automatic mode, in light traffic like this, that I forgot to downshift. Anyway, you can lower it down a little bit and see right through it, so that the windshield is so much better. The automatic is, I love the automatic. I drive a semi and I get so sick and tired of shifting gears. Right now I'm using a 10-speed primarily. The other ones we have are 13 speeds, and it seems like all you do is shift. And on this thing I can if I want to, but it's just a quick flick of I don't have to pull a clutch in or anything. I just push a button. It's just so much nicer. And when I get into downtown Minneapolis, when I run in through there, I'll just put it into automatic mode, into economy, and it'll just do all the shifting for me and keep the RPMs down. And it's just so much nicer. Let's see, what else is there? Lower center of gravity is so much easier to handle. When I tend to show up for work at the last minute, and when I go to turn into the parking spot on that Harley, I'd go to turn into my parking spot, and to be a tight right turn, slow speed maneuvering, tight right turn, both feet on the ground. Watch this. Watch me wipe out. Speed limit here is 45 around this curve. I usually take it at 55 or 60, considering how cold it is, and that this was wet earlier. Probably not the smartest thing I did, but bike had no trouble handling it. Speed limit here is 55, but I'm going to speed it up to 60 just so I don't make too many enemies. Anyway, this has a lower center of gravity, and I would get to work, make a tight right turn, as tight as the handlebars would go, and both feet on the ground, and then I'd hit as soon as I got into the spot, I'd hit the handbrake. Well, on that Harley, probably half a dozen times during the summer, I'd lay it over because I hit the brake, and it's just the momentum and everything. It's just over she'd go, and of course I'd pick it back up. It wasn't easy, but I'd pick it back up. It's just the embarrassment. On this bike, I've done the same thing. The center of gravity is low enough that I haven't laid it over once, and it's just so much nicer, so much easier to control. Yeah, let's see. What else? You have to give me a while. Like I said, I'm older. I've got several hundred thoughts flitting through my head all at the same time, and I'm going to have to grab a hold of one and lock onto it before I can come up with something worth saying. Let's see. I'm on a motorcycle, so I can take the HOV lane. So I'm going to do that because we're losing a lane up here. Right through here, the state patrol will sit. And in the semi, I can see over the top of the concrete barricade, and I can see if he's there. In a car, you can't always do that. My experience has been, though, is that if traffic's running like we are right now, fairly close, even though we're speeding, he'll let everybody go. And it's the guy that goes flying through at 85 or 90, or that's weaving in and out of traffic, that's who they usually go after. Now, just because they usually let us go doesn't mean they have to. If you're speeding, they can pull you over, like that guy right there. If you notice, he was giving me the finger. Speed limit here is 50. Too bad there wasn't a state patrol behind me. I'd get out of the way and let him go get him. You know, sometimes I had an uncle that if somebody did that, he'd go after him right on the motorcycle. He'd just gun it. He'd go right after him. And I suppose if you're suicidal, but my feeling is people like that are that angry, that's just a matter of time until they do the wrong thing at the wrong time, and life itself will take care of them. one thing I did learn in driving the semi, and this has nothing to do with the bike, you have to treat it like it's a video game. You really do. Where everybody's out to get you, you know, you're by yourself, and there aren't people in the other cars. There's just a computer's trying to do things to kill you, to shut you down, to lower your score and stuff. If you go through the game angry, always going after them, you're not going to survive the game at all. You just have to deal with it. Don't get angry. Keep calm, and don't retaliate. Just keep going. And that way, when other people do things like that, you just give it long enough. Eventually, it'll come back on them. But let somebody else take care of it, because I've got a family to feed. And right now, I'm on the motorcycle. I'd like to get home in one piece. I really would. I love the bike. I'm enjoying my life. It's not perfect, but you know, I'm content with things the way they are. Okay, I'm going to upshift. I'm in 7th, so there's no up to go to. But as soon as I hit the upshift, it shut off the cruise control. Still in 7th. So my reason for hitting that button was it allowed me to stay in the same gear without having to. There's no need to, if I hit any of my brakes, the brake light's going to come on. There's no need for that. I just didn't want to rear end the guy in front of me, so just disabling the cruise control quickly and easily, I just hit the upshift button. And if I'd hit the downshift, it would have downshifted. Didn't want to do that. It would have disabled the cruise control as well. Okay, we're coming into town. I'm going to shift us back over to, let's try again, there we are. Shift us over to automatic mode. And I'm going to shift us into economy, which probably is a stupid idea, because my experience with downtown Minneapolis is the roads here are usually horrible. The interstate can be clean, but after snow or bad weather or whatever, the roads down here can still be snow and ice covered. And they did lower the speed limit. It used to be 30. They've lowered it to officially, the signs say now that the speed limit is 20 unless otherwise posted. And right here it's posted at 25. Okay, I'm going to downshift, manually downshift. Not use the brakes yet. Okay, now I have to. Gently apply the brakes. Okay, now we're going to take this corner. Watch the manhole covers, because wet manhole covers mean absolutely zero traction at all. I'm going to lower this down a little bit so I can see better. So anyway, the point that I was on, you know, like before I sidetracked 10 or 12 times, is seriously, I'm happy with the Goldwing, and I'm not trying to sell you into buying one. You have to decide for yourself. You need to decide what you're looking for. For me, it's a sport tour, but for me it's neither. It's my daily driver. I couldn't take it on a tour. It's the wife and I fidget too much. We like our gadgets. We like to eat while we're driving down the road. I can't sit like this, even if I would put in footrests that just straight forward or straight back. I just can't do that. I can't take a motorcycle on a tour. And as for sporting, I've never been a hellraiser. That's just not something I'm going to do. So for me, the sport tour handle for it, it's neither. For me, it's like I said, it's during the summer months, and part of the cold, it's my daily driver. I hardly drove the Durango or the Charger all summer, unless I was going someplace where I just couldn't fit it all on the bike. I about hit a car head on here at this intersection earlier in the year. If I can find the footage, I'll show it to you. This is a one-way street to the left, and the car had his left turn signal on, he was coming from the opposite direction. Well, if I'd have had half a brain, I'd have known that he can't make a left turn unless he's a real moron, because he'd be going the wrong way down a one-way street. So I just thought, okay, well, I'll just turn left in front of him because he's turning left too. Apparently he had his left turn signal on, just forgot to shut it off. And I almost hit him head on. That was just stupid. Part of safe driving is situational awareness. You have to know what's going on around you, and you have to try to anticipate what people around you are going to do. And that includes knowing that normal people do not make a left-hand turn to go down the wrong way, down a one-way street. You've got to be careful riding through construction areas like this, because you can pick up nails and little shards of stuff and end up in a flat tire. See, here we are. Here's our wet. Oh boy. Well, we're 40 degrees, so it should be okay. I don't have a problem with driving this in rain. I don't have a problem with riding it in rain at all. It's got a rain mode, and I just bring a change of clothes with me when I'm riding it to work. But I don't, I'm not the least bit interested in riding it on ice. Yeah, I'm fine with this Arctic coveralls on. My ankle's a little chilly. I've got heavy-duty winter socks on. You can buy some online that, at least the ones I bought, they were called Arctic military boot socks, and I'm not sure that they're supposed to hold up in below freezing weather at 60-mile-per-hour wind chills, which is kind of what we're looking at here. Well, I'm doing 55 now, but yeah, they're fine. My feet are fine. It's just like I said, my ankle's a little bit chilly. Yeah. Got a truck coming up behind me a little faster than I care to deal with. That was in economy mode, so you know, if you downshift a couple of gears, and I just got into it a little bit, not real hard, you still have some pickup, nowhere near what you have in sport mode. Sport mode, you can go from 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds. My Dodge Charger does it in about 5 seconds, and it's got a 5.7 liter 370 horsepower engine in it. It actually is a police pursuit car, and they did not cut it back when they sold the car, or traded it in, or whatever they did. Well, one thing we could try right now real quick is, I want to wait till this car gets ahead of me. Don't want to freak anybody out. I was talking about how quick the computer responds. I'll give it some gas and drop it down 3 gears and see. Yeah, now we're up to 80. And that's, like I said, that's in economy mode, and that's the one with the lower power. It's, you know, for those of you who drag race, you're not going to be impressed, but I mean, for those of you who just wondering, you know, can you get any power if you need it from economy mode, you can. I'm going to switch it over to touring back to manual shifting, which is where I hit the right button, which is where I normally run it on this time of the day down the highway. Okay, well, I'm about 5 miles from the house, and the missus made it clear that I'm not allowed to show you where I live. So, yeah, God bless, and you know, like I said, if Goldwing has the features that you want, you won't regret it. And again, I'm not a salesman. I'm not sponsored. I'm not getting anything for this. This is my honest assessment. I will never voluntarily go back to, and I say voluntarily because about the time I say I'll never do something, circumstances in life happen where I have no choice. But I'll never voluntarily go back to a Harley or any other motorcycle for that matter, as long as I can afford the Goldwing and $22,000 for a daily driver. I'm fine with it. And but anyway, like I said, God bless, happy riding, and maybe we'll catch you next spring.